So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the Fuzz Hub. Contemplating whether I should just change the name to Fuzz Hub at this point, considering I'm dressing my own channel in such a manner. But we are back. We're back, and the video views are going up on average, which is super cool. I'm massively excited by seeing the viewership numbers going up, considering beforehand I was used to seeing maybe 1 or 2 views on the videos, but now we're taking off a little bit. We're getting a bit of traction. We're getting a bit of heat. It's good, and it's a good kind of heat. Yeah, it's the kind of heat that we want to see. But yeah, aside from that, massive appreciation to all of those who do watch the content, who do like the content, and do subscribe, which is really appreciate all kinds of support that I get, whether it is just solely watching the videos, or if you do choose to like the videos, subscribe, and also leave your comments. Any form of support, regardless of whether it's big or small, any support is massively appreciated and contributes to the growth of this channel, and also keeps me going in the right direction and keeps me on track, and those helps me to know that I'm going in the right direction. But what have we got? What have we got to discuss today? What have we got to discuss this afternoon? Well, as the title in the video suggests, Amrabat, the cheap steal, question mark, the cheap steal. You know, there's a lot of talk about Romeo, well, I keep forgetting what his first name is, but something like a Romeo Lavia. There's a lot of talk about Lavias, your Declan Rices, the Caicedos, and all of these sorts of DM players, your number sixes, the engines, the destroyers, the creators from deep. Well, we're linked to a player that can essentially play the DM position, and he is approximately, this is just an approximate valuation, for potentially about £26 million. Soifan Amrabat from Fiorentina, 26 years of age, so still got quite a few good years left in him. Quite a few good years, probably another good 6-7 years potentially. And what has he got to offer? What has he got to offer? What can he do for us? Well, so there's quite a few things. I'm looking at the Football Fancast of the rundown, or a rundown on Soifer and Amrabat by Football Fancast, which I found, by the way, on the Manchester United transfer news, newsnow.co.uk, which is basically an information hub and transfer rumours hub, which you can see all sorts of different sources listing their transfer stories, and pretty much it's got all different sort of tiered sources. So you've got your most reliable journalists' news stories being published on there, as well as your most uncredible, most unreliable journalist news sources as well. But it's all fun and games if you read through all of it, and you react to what you see, and make a meal out of anything. Gives me good content ideas on here as well, so I could go off and make some sort of fantasy video about some transfer rumor that's never ever going to happen, like Lionel Messi fell into a time warp and ended up de-aging by about 10 years, and he wants to join Manchester United as a transfer rumor. Could do something as crazy as that. But this is one of the more realistic transfer stories, and especially considering on his price tag at 26 million. I think for what Soifer and Amrabat, based off of what I've seen of him, because I watched him in the Conference League final against West Ham, he was actually pretty good. He is pretty good. I'm not going to say he's like some world-class dominant centre mid that's just commands the respect of the opposition, and having an aura that is just like, oh yeah, that guy's the big dog in the team. But Amrabat is more sort of a bit low key, but does a seriously underrated and underappreciated job. Um, but essentially, what is he? So by Football Fancast's description, they have called him. They bestowed the name of a conductor. He's a conductor. Think the likes of Andrea Pirlo. I mean, I don't know about comparing him to Andrea Pirlo. I think there's quite a few different levels just to separate the two in that respect. So I think Pirlo, is miles clear of anyone of Amrabat's levels, but sometimes in life you don't need to have a world class player in a key position. You just need someone who just does a very good job. Just does a very good job, whether it gets noticed or not. But if the proof is in the pudding and that player does a good job, you don't need to worry about being no stat merchants this or oh he's world class that player. You don't need to you don't need to whip out no wet floor signs. You don't need to get stuck to your bed sheets in any fashion for a player. Just as long as your eye test doesn't let you down and your eye test can see that player does a good job. There's nothing more you need to complicate the matter on. It's as simple as that. But if we're going to talk about stats here on supposedly let's put the stat merchants caps on for a second here, right? The stat merchants caps on for a second. But here we go. Here's some stats here. So, what does he offer? Ranking in the top 5% for pass completion and the top 8% for progressive passes. This is a player who is remarkably composed and possesses wonderful vision. So, he's got the eye for a pass, and being someone who's placed quite deep on the football pitch is actually a really, really priceless quality to have, to be able to be a creator from deep. Because I know defensive qualities are, the part and parcel for your classic DM player, and in the Premier League, having a defensively gifted DM is quite literally priceless. For what you need to do in the Premier League to either sink or swim, and if you want to swim, you need a good spine in your team, and a solid DM is is the key. It is the key, and much like talking about keys in football teams, a DM who's got a great eye for a pass and great range to his passing is the key to unlocking quite a few defenses in the Prem as well. So, it's a win-win. You get a great defensive player with great defensive attributes, but being a player that's placed quite deep on your pitch, having great ability to actually unlocking defenses as well. Sure, he's as said also in here further down that he's rarely evolved in the final third, ranking in the worst 34% for shot creating actions. I mean, at the end of the day, you probably don't need to worry too much about that. That's why you've got a number 10/number 8 in the team. That's why you've got some wingers. That's why you've got a striker. That involves in bringing more players into play. And at the end of the day, if you're a DM with a creative pass, you're not really passing in the final thirds. What you're doing is you're passing in the first and second thirds. That's your key areas. And if you've got a player that can create options, create openings, and create or start passages of play that lead to goals, it's the first and second passes that you need someone like an Amrabat to be doing. That's a key area, and United have not got players, barring a Casemiro, that can actually do that job. So Amrabat, would be the perfect option to be the alternative to taking a pass off of the centre backs like your Martinez, like the Varans, like the Lindelofs, and being able to turn, because he's got good low centre of gravity. He can turn very well, but he's also now got the vision, a good vision, to create options from deep with great passing range, as suggested here. He likes to sit back and dictate play. Sits in the best 2% for medium pass success and the top 1% for long passing success. So he's got options. He has got options. And to sit in a midfield duo with Casemiro, I mean, Jesus, that midfield would probably be balling in quite a few games. As to how good his level, how high up his level goes, I think is yet to be seen, because I don't think the guy has been tested, like properly tested. I don't watch Italian football, so I can't claim to know that if he's any good against big teams. But based off of what I have seen and the sort of how he conducts himself on a pitch, how he performs on the pitch, the sort of play style he has, he is quite. He's got qualities that that you can consider quite pivotal to needing in a Premier League grade midfield, and to surround him with class quality players like your Casemiro's, and then like if you have a Mason Mount in the team as well as Bruno Fernandes, and rotate with the Christian Eriksen and whoever else you have in a deeper position, I think is would be a fantastic addition. It's a player that United are looking at, but I don't think any interest is serious. But I think this is someone else, if you're like, because I know Lavia is now being linked between a battle between Arsenal and Liverpool. So I think for us, we can count ourselves out of that race, because no way for a club that's struggling for funds is going to go jumping into bidding wars against other clubs, even if it is a Liverpool and an Arsenal, that they're probably not going to be, they're not going to have a desire to bid very high, but I don't think we're going to have a desire to bid anything higher than, what, 30, 40 million pounds, which I think if you're going to go for Lavia, I think you're going to need to bid quite a fair bit more than 40 million pounds to get that player's signature, despite him having a 40 million pound thereabouts buyback clause from Manchester City. So, you make of it what you will, but Amrabat, 26 million pound. If that's what he's available for, then fantastic. I'd be all over that deal. Let's have a look here. There's a few other bits here. Let's read a bit more to what Football Fancast is talking about here. So they're talking about Casemiro here. With that in mind, he could well be the perfect partner for Casemiro in the midfield of United's side. The bullish Brazilian has been a revelation since arriving in English football, ranking inside the top 4% of midfielders across Europe for tackles, blocks, clearances, and aerials won. Unlike Amrabat, he doesn't maraud forward as such, and as such sits inside the best 62% for carries and the worst 29% of midfielders for total carry distance. Well, there you go. What this means is that two could complement each other perfectly. Exactly. So Casemiro sit back, break up the play before handing it over to Amrabat, whose immense passing range and ability to carry a ball forward would ensure Ten Hag's men are on the counter as soon as they want back possession. And if you've got two players, I mean, Casemiro, this is the thing. Even if it is Casemiro as what they're saying is the guy who sits deep to break up the play, what you can have is they transition. They can move either side. They can do either job. So Casemiro, I think, can sometimes appear on the edge of the box and strike a ball in from range, right? Score a goal. Amrabat, of course, he's not well known for striking, but if Casemiro sits deeper, Amrabat's the guy who goes forward. And it's if you've got a dynamic spine, a dynamic spine is like, you got a strong spine, fantastic. You got a dynamic spine, oh, that's even better. It just sweetens everything a little bit. And I think having the option to go with having a strong, stable, but a liquid, a smooth transitional spine is something that cannot be understated. And there's not many clubs in the world, barely any clubs in the world, that can have a team that has a spine that's built like that. I mean, Manchester City, I think the way that they're structured is they've got a strong spine, but they just move as like a unit. They move as a unit, and they tend to just push everything upwards and just compress the operation spaces for your opposition. So of course, there's different teams that have strong spines that go about doing business differently. United are going to find themselves on the back foot a fair few times, but you need to have the right sort of spine. When they're in possession, they know how to break down that pressure. They know how to play through the pressure. They know how to switch the momentum and to now put your opposition on the back foot. And if you've got someone who can be like a Casemiro and an Amrabat as your midfield partnership, a duo, you have the option to do that. You can do that. So I think that for me is a priceless asset, even if Amrabat is not the level of signing that you want to have, or if he's not like the quality, I think is somewhat irrelevant, because I think at the moment we can't, like, the beggars cannot be choosers. We can't sign all the world-class midfielders we want, because if we could do that, then Frankie de Jong would be in the door tomorrow. I think that goes without saying. But Amrabat you could sign tomorrow legitimately and still have all of your other targets. I mean, the fact that we're listing Scott McTominay on the market for 40 million, and then you see someone like a Soifer and Amrabat available for 26 million, you're just like, oh, well, Jesus Christ, you might as well just sell Fred tomorrow. Sell Fred tomorrow to say, okay, Fulham, we're going to sell Donny van der Beek, you sell Fred, you both of them out the door tomorrow. 20 million a pop, or slightly less, and then use that money to buy Amrabat, and then do whatever the hell you want with Scott McTominay. I think having that sort of that vision to build a midfield, just getting someone who's got the key elements to do a job, and then worry about adding your superstardoms further down the line, right? I think what we need to do is just have a team that can function to what the manager needs. In terms of where quality comes from, that is just its own argument point when we get to it, because the problem that we have is that we're playing different styles of football compared to what our manager wants to play, because we don't have the players in the squad to do the job. We don't have the players in the squad to do the job. So if you sign someone like an Amrabat, you push us closer, much closer, if not push us into the realms of actually playing the football Ten Hag wants, and not to be forced into having to change systems every other week to accommodate the threats that other teams have. You shouldn't be having to play reactive. You should be playing proactive. You shouldn't have to be preparing for what the other teams are going to do. You should be preparing to do the best you can do for your system to make them have to work harder to counteract your game plan. And if we've got players who can enact that authority on the football pitch, then fantastic, despite whether they've got world-class quality or not. If you've got players who can just do the job, that for me is all priceless in that aspect. But going to wrap it up there. Let me know what you guys think about Soifer and Amrabat. Is this the sort of guy that you want to sign for Manchester United? Do you think he could do a good job for us if we do turn our attention to him? Or if you believe that there is a midfielder you'd much rather sign to partner Casemiro deeper on the pitch, who would that player be? Drop the names in the comments below, as well as your thoughts and feelings on the matter. But basically, Soifer and Amrabat, 26 million. If I'm going to go for it, yeah, 100%. Would I go for it? 100% I would. But some of y'all might feel different. But do be sure before you leave to smash a like on the video, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And appreciate all support for those of you who are subscribing and who are watching the video and liking the videos. And we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.